Hi, this is Cindy with the Tour de Los Alamos bicycle race, and this video is for volunteers, more specifically corner marshal or course marshal volunteers. Thank you very much for volunteering, and this position is extremely critical for both rider safety and just sort of community happiness with the event, so the drivers don't feel confused, they know what's going on. So thank you in advance for volunteering for this task. It should be easy and pleasant, but I just want to make sure you are aware of a few things. Number one, your safety is the most important thing. So make sure when you check in, the easiest thing is to really check in at the start in the morning. There'll be a volunteer check-in area, and that's located at 20th and Trinity. So if you can do that, if you have a White Rock position, you didn't plan on coming up to Los Alamos, let me know. We can arrange pickup of your items beforehand, and then I do want you to call me, get a hold of me, so I do know you are in position that morning. But you need a safety vest. If appropriate for your position, you'll get signage, so just a little sign. You can kind of flip to slow or stop. Just having that sign sometimes drivers will be paying more attention to what that you're there and you're attempting to tell them about something important. Also, it's helpful to grab like a racer information sheet and maybe the flyer with the map. So if you have a driver that has questions about the route, you can easily point to it and show them. So those are the things you want to pick up. So safety vest, if you're going to have a sign, a rider, a racer information sheet, the flyer with the map. And then your job is really to be alert, and I would call it cheerfully assertive. So, we want to be friendly. Most of the time the problem is the motorists might be confused by what's going on, not entirely clear on what they're supposed to be doing, and you really want to politely direct them, get their attention, politely direct them to what you want them to do. The major three functions of the course marshal or corner marshal is controlling traffic is number one, and directing racers. So this is the most important duty. The course is marked, so the bicyclists do have the right of way. Make sure drivers are aware of this sort of special situation. So, if a car is coming up to an intersection, you see a pack about to come, you would alert the car to that fact, and they should wait until that pack of cyclists has passed. So warning traffic to drive slowly, like you can use the slow hand signal. Again, you might have a sign to tell them to stop. One important thing, though, at no time should you get in the path of a vehicle. So if you want to stand more to the side where drivers can see you and where also you can see approaching cyclists, but sort of position yourself so you have good sight lines, but without putting yourself directly in the path of a vehicle. In some cases, and it's pretty rare, we have had very limited issues with this over the years, but drivers might not be aware of what's happening, and they may not necessarily obey a volunteer. If they willfully sort of endanger the race and don't obey your direction, if you feel comfortable doing so, you can call 911 and make sure you get LAPD, or call LAPD dispatch, report your position, vehicle plate number if you can get that, where they're headed, and exactly what happened. LAPD is generally very supportive of these sorts of issues. So that's one, controlling traffic, directing racers. So if the racers need to turn left, you would be sort of before that intersection, letting them know that they need to turn left there, or with hand signals or shouting at them. Emergency assistance. So that is another important function. If a crash does occur close to your station, do what you can to assist the rider, get the course as clear as possible. This is one of those things you got to use your own judgment. In certain, crashes, it's not a good idea to move the victim. So make sure you're going to have to use your judgment on this. If it really requires emergency medical attention right away, no, you call 911. Okay, that's what we do for the race. We call 911 if somebody is in need of serious medical attention. Then if it's non-emergency medical, you can call my cell. The number is going to be in the corner marshal instructions document that you have been emailed. So, and my cell number is right on there. That's for non-emergency medical. So try to program right now, stop the video, program my cell number in your phone, okay? And then I will send the LA Auxiliary Fire Brigade is going to be on course with an ambulance. So they'll be patrolling, and I will send them out. If you notice anything strange happening on Lanel property, the Emergency Operations Center number is also in here, so you can call that and say, yeah, there's some strange people lurking in the canyon right here by the lab, or just report that situation to them, and their security folks can take care of it. So number one, you're controlling traffic and you're directing racers, so it's clear at that intersection what is happening to everybody. And then 2 is emergency assistance if there is a crash close to your post. 3 is information. So this is where you can look up answers to questions that spectators might ask. People should not, by the way, be parking their cars all over the roads, particularly on Lanel property. They don't want roadside parking. Obviously, if you are a corner marshal, you kind of need your car to get you to that corner to do it. So your car will be there, but there shouldn't be spectators parking on the lab property. But if somebody has a question, you can answer that, offer information to motorists who ask. You can feel free to show them my name and phone number. They can call me if they have questions. But that's really secondary to your primary function. So first always comes sort of the more safety things, controlling traffic, directing racers, and then assisting in an emergency. And then the other thing is I will be recording all of your phone numbers in my phone in case there's an emergency situation on the course. So if you're going to have a different phone on you, please let me know in advance that phone number. I'm going to use the numbers that you submitted in your volunteer form. And please try to remember to charge your phone beforehand. When the last rider comes through, they should be followed by the Los Alamos Auxiliary Fire Brigade, and they've passed you. Then you can leave your post. I do ask that you please don't leave your post unmanned, unpersoned, in time without notifying me. I'll send somebody else out. We have to keep somebody there at those posts all the time. And then the other thing is, please do join us at the Wards and Volunteer Appreciation Ceremony, which is at Bathtub Row Brewing at 2 o'clock. And all of you will be entered for the Visa gift card, random drawing as well. And pick up your shirt and socks too when you check in. So where are these different positions? Well, the first one that I'll talk about, so the race is starting downtown, comes a neutral parade through here, goes through the, let's see, you can see it on here, the vehicle access portal for the laboratory. So the racers will come through here, and then the race officially starts here. And then depending on, the category of racer, they'll have different number of laps. But this first position is at the back gate here. Okay, so at the back gate, there are going to be people coming down from the Jemez. You want to make sure those drivers, because there's not a stop for them, are aware that cyclists will be turning left. So this intersection, it's really important to alert the drivers that cyclists will be just swinging right through here, okay? And we do try to get an LAPD officer here. Unfortunately, sometimes just depending on officer availability, we might not get one. I try to assign 2 people as intersections since the racers need to know to turn left, and there's kind of a both sides to cover. Excuse me. Okay, next one, the race continues down past Bandelier. There we go. Excuse me, through Ancho Canyon. That's a neutral zone, by the way, so they're not supposed to be racing through there. Coming up through White Rock. Now, when we get through White Rock, as you are probably aware, there are subdivision streets here. Some of them are a little more major than others. We will have signage here that alerts motorists that there is a bike race going across that way. But the next one is at Grand Canyon and Pajarito Road. So right here. So this is another station. And then a little further up, we have New Mexico 4 at Rover. So that is, here's, I can blow it up if it'll show us the name. There's Rover Boulevard. Okay, so that's kind of the downtown White Rock intersection. And most likely we'll have a police officer here, but just, and you would be just telling bike racers you would go straight here. And very specific instructions on every position are included in the quarter marshal locations. And this also includes your times. So you need to make sure you're at your post by that specific time. We've kind of used that from previous years and how fast racers get there. So there's another one. And then the one up here, so they come through White Rock, they head up to the turn to the truck route, or East Hemmes Road. So this one, again, this is a fast intersection, and police officer will be there. Okay, so if there's not a police officer there and you're stationed there, let me know. Should be a police officer there. But you're mainly going to be letting riders know well before the intersection that they will be turning left, okay, as they approach. And then another position, so the riders come up East Hemmes. Another position is, so they're climbing. And then to get to the finish line, they have to come through the VAP again, because the finish line is over here, where this intersection is, where it's cut off now, because there's that gate thing. But this is where the finish is, and then we direct people up here. There'll be some finish line food there. But so they have to go through, everybody, even if they're only doing one lap, ends up going through the VAP twice, during the neutral parade when they started, and also to finish their first lap. And then depending on, the Cat 1 men will end up coming through that 4 times. So we will have someone stationed here as well. Just beforehand, we should be letting the cyclists know that they're going to be making a left-hand turn. They should be paying attention, looking over their shoulder for vehicles and things like that. And then also hopefully the drivers will be aware something's going on, because we should have a police car here with his lights flashing and directing traffic as well. Okay, so those are sort of an overview of the different positions. If you have any questions after you have carefully read your form for your position, let me know. I sort of color-coded the different positions with the responsibilities, and I will let you know exactly which one you're at. One thing is, in the vehicle access portal, if you're coming through here to get to your spot, again, regular lab rules apply. You have to stop. You have to show your ID. And also, make sure you didn't go to the store the previous night and you have like alcohol in your trunk or something. Make sure you don't have any prohibited items in your vehicle. And, bicyclists that are not participating in the Tour de los Alamos are not your responsibility. You should see a bib number. It'll be on the right-hand side of all racers. And the other thing I'd like to remind everybody is that photography is prohibited all over Los Alamos National Lab property. So, you can't take pictures at most of these locations because there is land and structures and buildings and things. So that's the one thing. You can't really snap shots of racers going by or doing something like that. We really appreciate your cooperation, because, the future of the race depends on it. If they feel that we're not respecting the laboratory rules, then there's a good chance this race might not happen in the future. So thank you again. Enjoy the race. You should be alerted when your time is up. You can always call me if you think maybe the last rider went by, but you haven't had that confirmed to you. I will try to call people as I get information about where that last rider has progressed to that point. Sometimes it's a little hard to get information off the course, but I do my best to let you know. And thank you very much. Make sure you come to the Bathtub Row Brewing ceremony if you can. It's at 2 p.m. We'll announce the volunteer gift card winner at that meeting. And then we've got some free food. So, come on down. And thank you again. Thanks.